and eventually he and his army arrived. Dagon sensed the presence of belligerent Ghidorah and told his wife and children to stay at home. And that was when he and Ghidorah first met. They met at Hawaii. They met there, and they had their first big battle. It was here that Dagon realized that belligerent Ghidorah is the son of Grand King Ghidorah. And therefore, belligerent Ghidorah came to avenge his father's death. Originally, his brother, Kaiju Ghidorah, wanted to conquer the Earth, but belligerent Ghidorah beat him in combat because he had something that his brother did not have. Belligerent Ghidorah was the first and only Ghidorah, besides of his son, Shamkei Ghidorah, had the ability to regenerate body parts. No other Ghidorah could do that, mainly because his mom was actually a Hydra. And unlike his other brothers, he inherited her Hydra abilities, which was regenerating body parts. And so Dagon found this Ghidorah to be more challenging than Grand King Ghidorah. King Ghidorah almost killed Dagon until Gamera arrived to save his best friend. Gamera's father, actually, Gamera's father showed up to help Dagon. And eventually, King Ghidorah unleashed his alpha call, calling his entire army to come to assist him. And eventually, he got a few earth monsters to join his army. Titanosaurus, Skullcrawlers, Nemutos, Kumunga, Kamacuras, Gabara, Servum, and even two Godzillas, Evil Godzilla and Shin Godzilla. These two Godzillas, they really hated Dagon because they actually had a crush on Bajiran. And they were childhood friends of Dagon until he took their love interest, which was Bajiran. Bajiran was their love interest, and Dagon took her. And therefore, he had two children with her, a son and a daughter. And wanting revenge, they decided to join King Ghidorah's army. The new war began. This time with two new leaders of the Earth Defenders and Earth Invaders. Legendary Ghidorah, the new leader of the Earth Invaders, and Dagon, leader of the Earth Defenders. During this battle, Evil Godzilla and Shin Godzilla try to convince they try to convince Bajiran to choose them, but she refused, and wanting to defend her children, she attacked them. Not wanting to kill her, they decided to allow King Ghidorah to kill her instead. King Ghidorah killed Bajiran in front of Legendary and Godzilla. Legendary and Godzilla watched as their mother got killed right in front of them. evil Godzilla, determined to kill Dagon's children, but never got a chance because Dagon showed up just in time to save his son and daughter. However, he was already too late to save his wife. Wanting to avenge her death, Dagon tracked down King Ghidorah. But King Ghidorah had a backup plan. And that backup plan was to set up an ambush for Dagon. Muto Prime set up the perfect ambush and ambushed Dagon, catching Dagon completely off guard and almost killing him. War for Gamera's father, and surprisingly, GMK Ghidorah. GMK Ghidorah showed up, and he finally revealed to his father that he did not want to become an Earth invader. He didn't want it to be a villain. So therefore, he chose to become an Earth defender instead. Therefore, GMK Ghidorah was known as the first and only Ghidorah to betray his kind. He betrayed his own kind. Not only that, he betrayed his father and mother's trust. And eventually, Dagon declared GMK Ghidorah as an Earth defender, as a guardian monster, and gave him a place on Earth. And after 3 years, the war was finally going to end because Dagon decided to challenge King Ghidorah to Antarctica, where he will banish him there. Realizing that King Ghidorah was way too powerful for Dagon to kill, Dagon decided to imprison King Ghidorah in Antarctica. So while Dagon's army hold off King Ghidorah's army, Dagon tracked down King Ghidorah before he was managed to find the founding Titan. Dagon and King Ghidorah began their big battle in Antarctica. The battle lasted almost a day and a half, until Dagon finally turned into his blue burning form and overpowered King Ghidorah. He banished King Ghidorah into the ice, therefore imprisoning King Ghidorah there for an eternity. However, he had help from another Godzilla, a Godzilla that he'd never seen before. This was the father of Godzilla Ultima. Godzilla Ultima 1954 showed up. With the help of him, Dagon was managed to imprison King Ghidorah in Antarctica. And just like that, King Ghidorah could never hurt anyone ever again. And here's where King Ghidorah discovered that Godzilla Ultima 1954 owned 13 different dimensions, which was unlike anything he's ever seen before. No other Godzilla had ever had that much power before, except for one, Godzilla Earth. Godzilla Earth was the most powerful Godzilla, and this Godzilla basically almost rivaled in power with Godzilla Earth. Anyways, Dagon and Godzilla Ultima in 1954 banished King Ghidorah into the ice. They imprisoned him there for an eternity, never again to harm anyone ever again. Before Dagon could thank Godzilla Ultima in 1954, he walked away because he lost his wife during the war and decided to help out Dagon to end it. And during this time, Godzilla Ultima 1954 was already taking care of his son, Godzilla Ultima. What Dagon did not realize was that this Godzilla would eventually, that Godzilla Ultima would eventually become the new king of the monsters, and to be the Godzilla to kill King Ghidorah. After that, Dagon went home and raised his son and daughter by himself. He raised them for years. And when they became adults, he declared Legendary as the new king of the monsters. Well, he was actually going to declare Legendary as the new king. And therefore, Godzilla's jealousy and hatred towards her own brother returned. Dagon was originally going to have a talk with his daughter, but before he got that chance, Dagon was murdered. Dagon was assassinated by Muto Prime. Dagon told his son and daughter that he loves them very much. And just like that, he died. Godzilla never forgot the chance to find out what her father wanted to talk to her about. And therefore, this drove Godzilla to hate Legendary even more. And just like that, she turned around and swam away, not wanting to see her brother ever again. Legendary tried to track down Godzilla for years, but he couldn't find her. He wanted to talk things out with her to make things right. But unfortunately, Godzilla was never found. This remained like this for years. Eventually, Legendary ordered all the Kaiju to go in hibernation. During this time, Godzilla went to Paradise, the island of the devils. She went there to find a good place to hibernate. But during this time, she witnessed the Great Titan War. She witnessed everything. And wanting to end the war, she decided to be part of the war itself. And wondering how did she end it? Well, she killed off half of Marlene's army and the other half of Paradise's army. And basically threatened that if they didn't learn to coexist, she would destroy them one day.